guys, welcome to Alex Goes Coconuts. So today I'm going to be sharing my top tips and tricks when traveling. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm actually an international buyer. So I've been traveling globally for the past 20 years and I've picked up a lot of tricks along the way that most people don't know. So I wanted to share those more obscure tips and tricks that people don't usually talk about. Now before we get started, I'd really appreciate you liking this video if you do enjoy its content and you subscribe to my channel. It just helps me make more great videos like this one. Alright, so let's get to it. So tip number one is to avoid drinking coffee or alcohol before your flight or during the flight. At high altitudes, the humidity in that plane is similar to that of a desert. So you're gonna dehydrate really quickly and coffee and alcohol just make it worse. Instead, try drinking a bottle of water. It's gonna keep you hydrated and it's gonna avoid any problems like headaches or dehydration during the flight. So tip number two is to bring yourself an empty refillable water bottle. So once you pass security, you can fill that bottle with fresh water and that way you won't have to spend on water bottles at the airport. Tip number three is to avoid drinking hot beverages during the flight. So hot beverages actually use water from a huge tank that they fill up before leaving. And these tanks are rarely cleaned out, so there's full of bacteria that accumulates in them. So you don't want to be drinking the water from those tanks. Tip number four is to eat something salty before your flight, like chips or crackers. The salt will help your body retain water, so it will help you avoid dehydration during the flight. Tip number five is to bring your own food onto the plane. Airlines offer some pretty bland food during their flights and some don't even offer any at all. You have to pay for it. And that way you're gonna be able to just eat when you're hungry and you're not gonna have to wait for the airline service. Tip number six is to bring peppermint or ginger onto the plane to help you fight nausea. So peppermint gum is a really great trick. If you start feeling nauseous on the plane, you can pop a peppermint gum, and peppermint is known to get rid of nausea really well. Ginger is also known for its anti-nausea properties. So I like to bring myself some little ginger tablets. Actually, Gravol makes some ginger tablets that are free of medication. You just pop one or two of those and you're gonna feel much better quicker. You can also use essential oils. So peppermint oil is really great for nausea or for migraines. So what I like to do is just put a few drops of peppermint essential oil onto a handkerchief, bring that with me onto the plane, and if I start feeling nauseous, I can use it to get rid of nausea or even headaches. Tip number seven is to arrange a workout before flying. So a workout will usually help your body regulate itself to the new time zone that you're flying to. So I often like to work out before my flights. And also when I arrive, I like to work out early in the morning. It will help your body reset and really help you get into that time zone much quicker. Tip number eight is actually something that I learned a few years ago from a fellow traveler. You can use a scarf or a belt to tie around the tray table in front of you, and you can use that as a little hammock for your legs. This will help you relax on your flight a lot better. Tip number nine is usually airlines offer a whole bunch of free stuff if you know what to ask for, especially if you're traveling with children. They usually offer children's crayons, juice boxes, puzzles, or games. They also offer free snacks. So you just have to ask the stewardess once you're inside that plane and they'll give you all that stuff for free. Tip number 10 is to take a picture of your luggage before checking it in. So this has happened to me a few times. If the airline ends up losing your luggage or it gets misplaced, it's really practical to have a picture of your luggage on your phone. So when you make a claim, you can show them what your luggage looks like. It makes it a lot easier for them to track it down and to find it. You can also buy yourself a little GPS tracker. So if you're somebody who travels a lot, this might be a really good investment. You can buy a little GPS tracker that tracks where your luggage is at. I'll put a link in the description box below of the one that I use. Tip number 11 is before leaving for another country, write down the number of the consulate and the number of the hotel that you're traveling to on a piece of paper that you keep with you. In case your phone stops working or it loses power or it breaks, at least you have everything written down on a piece of paper. Tip number 12 is when you fly in transit from another country, you can actually stay there as a layover. Usually those stops don't affect the price of your ticket, and it's a really great way of visiting an extra place at no extra charge. Tip number 13 is if you do decide to do this, you can actually ask your airline to help you find a visa, a bus transfer, or a hotel for your stay there. Tip number 14 is to upload scans of your documents to the cloud storage. That way, if you lose your passport or your phone, you have access to all your documents and you have a way of retrieving it. Tip number 15 is when you're renting a car, make sure to inspect it carefully. You want to take pictures of any scratches or dents, and definitely advise the car rental company before leaving that parking lot, because if not, you're going to be the one paying for it when you return the car. I usually make sure that I get it in writing that those things were there before leaving that parking lot. Tip number 16 is to download offline maps of the city you're visiting before leaving. So sometimes your maps on your phones don't work or you don't have any phone service, and this will avoid you getting lost. Tip number 17 is if you forget or you lose your phone charger during your travels, you can always check with your hotel to see if they have any extras. People often leave these things behind, and they usually have a whole bunch for all different types of phones that they'll just give you for free. And the same thing goes at the airport. If you need a phone charger, you can definitely go see at the Lost and Found, and they usually have a whole bunch of phone chargers that they're just going to give you free of charge. Tip number 18 is to choose a fanny pack instead of a purse as a carry-on. Fanny packs are usually free carry-ons, unlike purses that do count towards your carry-on luggage. Tip number 19 is to check into your flight 24 hours in advance. This will usually allow you to change your seat placement inside the plane if you're not happy with it, free of charge. And it also reduces the chances of you being bumped off the flight. Tip number 20 is to try to book your flight on a Tuesday or a Wednesday. Usually flights are a lot cheaper on those days, and you're also going to have less people on that flight. Alright guys, so those are my top 20 tips when traveling. Let me know in the comments below if you have any other tips that I haven't mentioned in this video. And don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching guys. Happy travels!